Ooh. Hello. Been a while. I don't know how to explain what I'm doing. Oh well, I mean it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm back to like where I started initially. I was gonna do this like a year after I released the video I'm gonna talk about, which is the the Manny life update, I guess. I was gonna do it either on my birthday or um a year after, which is like Thanksgiving. Because I looked back on it recently. I rewatched it and I realized that like somewhat like obviously like I've changed. It's been a couple of months since I've released that. Um and I thought, you know what? Like halfway through watching it, I was like, what if I just like react to it essentially. And that's what I'm doing. Um reacting to like my video. Got the whole new old setup. This whole thing, my whole room's a mess. So also contradicting colors to it. I'll get whatever. It doesn't matter. This is like very like spur in the moment kind of thing. Sorry if I keep looking down at my laptop. I have like the display here. Anyway, let's just jump into it. Lord. Okay, I just want to start off real quick already. I don't know if you can barely see, but like you can see my reflection here. Anyway, hi. It's been a minute. Um, I was working on a different video, a continuation of my last one, but I gave up. Okay. I already know not everyone knew I kind of did YouTube, quote unquote, because I I essentially did the final project. I don't remember anymore if it's the final project for my AP English class in the way that like I talked about different things, I explained the meanings of these things, and I did that for my final. Um and I had a lot of fun doing it. What I was recording a continuation of that last video because I found the first part to be very fun. I was like, yeah, like I enjoy it. Um and what I was going to talk about in that second video was moment 37 from Street Fighter 3. Like this big moment in fighting game history. Wait and see. Oh no, come and see. I was going to talk about that movie. Um but at the time I didn't have OBS, or I said I didn't know OBS was a thing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just like screen record it and import it and then talk about it. But then like me talking about it, I mean, I say it in the video, like I was kind of half-assing it, so like I didn't have the initial like yeah kind of thing. So I just gave up on it, even though I say I wish I didn't. That's partially true. But now I'm doing my own thing. I haven't done this in a while because school. But hello, I'm here to give you more content, more wasting of your time. We have better. But you see me here. You see me on your screen, right? Because Apple released a feature which I love already, which you can use your camera as a you can use your phone as a camera if you're like doing anything like on here. You might be asking, why didn't you just use your phone to record? I didn't want to like have my laptop here and my phone there. My mom would text me and I not this wouldn't work all the time to like tell me, oh hey, someone messaged you. And also I can't connect this microphone to my phone. I mean, there's no USB to fucking iPhone, I don't think. That right, I just haven't looked hard enough. So a few things. The only real reason that I didn't use my phone to record initially was because I just didn't know how to like, because I couldn't connect this microphone to my phone. That is a fact. Because of this feature, I can use my phone as a camera while using the microphone. So it works both ways. But I don't know why. I don't know why I needed to say, oh, because my mom would text me. I would still get the messages here. I would get calls here too. So, I mean, I don't know why I said that. That's just not true. I think I just. You know what? I'm not gonna try and explain why I thought that, because I have no fucking idea. The only reason why I'm talking about this now is because recently I found this trick, where like if you're using like like a separate camera and a microphone to record, all you gotta do is just clap, sync that up, and you're good. I wish I knew that initially, because then I don't think my videos would look like it was taken on a flip phone. The quality wasn't. It's passable, but it's not as good as this. So it's Thanksgiving and it's nearing the end of the year. As every year ends, I always look back on the year that I'm in. In this case, I looked back on 2022 and I realized, man, I was lost the entire time. I had no sense of direction whatsoever. It sort of became apparent to me as soon as I entered college. Like once I entered in there, I realized that I was I was far behind in terms of like who I am. This is more like a self-reflection type thing. Yeah. This man is not wrong. I don't want to say that I was lost for the entirety of 2022. I think that was an overstatement. I think it's just that I was stupid. For the majority of that year, I was an idiot. It's not that when I entered college, I was like, oh my God, like I am not up to date with everything. It's more like that's when I realized a lot about myself, and that's when I decided I need to change. I don't think the first year of college is really built for that. It's really meant for, experiences and, making new friends. The first half, or like the first semester, so like September/August to December, that's when I realized a bunch about myself. That's when I realized that, okay, maybe I'm not that great of a person. And that truth kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. This is gonna get personal, quote unquote. I don't know. But like before I went into college, before my senior year of high school, specifically my sophomore year in high school, I mentioned it here briefly, or like in COVID times, or at least like before COVID hit, I hated myself a lot, like very much. And back then, I had no reason to ask that, to think that. And then for a few years, that question kind of dwindled off. And then came 2022, where it was around the time that I filmed and released this video, specifically around November, which is ironic for me personally, but I won't get into why, but it's ironic to me that around December was when I went through hell. Looking back, that is like the worst, or was the worst month of that year. I would have thought it was July, would have thought it was when I went into college. No, it was November when, shit was hitting the fan for me essentially. That old question popped up of am I a good person? It came up again at around December or January of this year. It came up again, and like that question bothered me a lot that I went to therapy. I mentioned it briefly, and I don't know if I really mentioned it in my videos, but I know I mentioned it in my podcast, which you should listen to, by the way. Another reason I went to therapy was for self-forgiveness. It's easy to forgive others, but when it comes to me personally, I don't know how to forgive myself, especially if I do something that I consider to be heinous or just something that is outright disrespectful to a person that I deeply care for. And I don't know how to deal with it. So it took a toll on me essentially. That question of am I a good person and can I forgive myself? It's not a question of like, should I? It's like, can I? Is it possible? Especially for something that I deem unforgivable. Um, it's like, how do I forgive myself? Can I forgive myself? Should I forgive myself? But going to therapy, it helped me. Sure, I haven't forgiven myself 100% for the things I've done, but I'm at a point where I've accepted that things have happened, and I can't change it. But the best I can do is just move on and just accept that it happened, and I can't do anything about it. Whatever happens, happens. Anyway, I realized that this year I have been a bit behind, um, in terms of being a person. Um, there's still some things that I'm working on. But other than that, I am making little progress. But little progress is better than no progress. I learned this year that there's always a silver lining to everything. Always. Most of the time anyway, not always, but one thing I took whoops, I oh fuck, oh fuck. One thing I took away from going through it on my own is that there will always be some sort of silver lining. And sure, like I said, like, there are some exceptions, but most of the time. And yeah, it's true. You can't always be negative about everything, right? Because if you do, then, it just gets a bit boring and also it gets very depressing. Through my perspective, it's easier for me to just say that something good has come out of the bad. Because then, it's true. In my case, it's true. Things happened. And because of said things, I became more open about who I am, right? I beat around the bush in this video a lot. I mean, I still am, but not to the extent like this fucker. I'm more open about more open about my femininity. I'm more vulnerable than ever. Um, I'm just more open about everything because I think enough time has passed where I can talk about things that do bother me, and I can just be me, be a more authentic me, if you will. This Manny paved the road for me, and sure, he's a fucking idiot, and he's depressed as fuck. But because of that, you have me. 2020, I'd say it was my best year. Not ever, because I don't really have much recollection of any other year. But I do remember 2020 being like the best year for me. Sure, fucking nationwide panic, right? Everyone was just not having a great time. But as for me, I was having a wonderful time, because I was really struggling back then with me. To make a long story short, I didn't really like myself that much. In fact, I hated myself very much. I didn't know I needed a break from everything until the pandemic hit. And I was like, okay, great. I feel a lot better now. Because I realized that I couldn't keep myself happy. I relied on everyone else around me to like make me happy, right? And so being on my own, I had to learn the hard way, in my opinion, to like make myself happy. I started doing puzzles, even though I had a puzzle and I didn't finish it, but I was halfway there. I remember being on the call with friends, like coping with the pandemic, and I would just be doing a puzzle whenever I was bored, and I would always struggle. Fucking corner pieces, I swear to God. I always cringe at that part because what do I mean corner pieces? What the fuck do I mean by corner pieces? They're not that hard. It, oh my fucking god. Okay. What I said was true though. Not the corner pieces part. I'm not that stupid, I promise. But the part that is true. I mentioned it earlier where I was like, yeah, I hated myself very much at the time. Um, and yes, 2020 was my best year, I'd say. For every year that I remember, 2020 was like I was at my peak, right? Um, because for one, I was healthy, like really healthy. Like I'm talking the healthiest I've been in my fucking life, right? Two, I got a girlfriend. She was really fucking cool. Three, I actually grew as a person. Sure, I was fucking what, 15, 14, 15 around that time? But like, you know, knowing that I grew from that, knowing that I became who I am because of the pandemic, for better or for worse. Sure, it's a bit of a stretch to say that was my best year. No, not that I say it, but for now, I'll say that 2020 was my best year. I don't know. I'm still fucking baffled on the quarter pieces. Swear to God, the fuck does that mean, Manny? We weren't struggling that hard, okay? And a lot of things changed. 2020, yeah, a lot of things changed there, but it was for the better. 2022, I'd say things changed for the worse. I feel like I took damn near everything for granted. True. My friendships, my relationships, my own self. I realized that I began to rely on people again. And once those people were out of my life, I didn't know what to do with myself. I, again, I was miserable. Or at least I felt miserable. Now I feel okay. I am not, I'm not 100%, like I'm not 100% there. I'm more like 40, 50. Not even 50. Never mind. 30, 40. If we're being generous. Optimistically, I'd say I'm 50. Realistically, 30 to 40%. I'm okay. Don't believe this man. He's lying to you. He's fucking. This man's lying to you. At this time, looking back, this man was not 30, 40. No, he was not. He was like 10, 20% okay. Not even. This man was not okay. Now I can say in full confidence, 50, 60% I'm okay. Not even. I'm past the okay part. I'd say I'm like 30 to 40%. I'm good. 30%. Sure. It's good enough. It's better than fucking zero, okay? Cut me some slack. When I say things changed for the worst, I frame it as if like I changed for the worst. When in reality, I've always been that way. 2020 was a good change for me because I learned more about myself in that time because I was alone and actually took the time to grow. 2022, um, I was faced with the reality of the actions. I was faced with the consequences of my actions, of my words, and I didn't know how to handle it. And it was around this time that I began to make that revelation of maybe I am an asshole. Am I the asshole? Oh my god. Yeah, it was around this time that I started to wrap my head around that I not that idea, but that fact of like maybe I'm not that as good of a person as I thought I was. Maybe I am not perfect. And it's not to say that I thought it was perfect, but it's to say that I always thought I was a good person. And my intentions were there. My actions did not come through with that. They didn't show my intention. I just said, "Oh, this was my intention. Sorry if I hurt you." But that was it. I never tried to show my actual intention. I just said it, and that was that. As the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words. And I knew that, but I just didn't know how to put those actions into actions. And it's also the fact that I just thought my words were enough, when in reality, they're not. I did make myself happy. I made myself proud on some occasions, but not to the extent that I say, "Oh, I'm happy," right? It was just, "Oh yeah, I'm proud of myself for that, but please give me validation," right? But then once that was gone, I felt useless and I felt alone, and I wasn't at the time. I wasn't because I had my friends. Um, but then going into college and seeing how like things changed, and like a completely different environment. I thought that I'd be okay, that I would make it through, and I did. I'm still alive. I don't take that as a, oh, I tried killing myself. No, it's more like, oh, man, I wish I wasn't here anymore type thing, right? For one, the voice crack. For two, for the beginning of when I started that clip. The gimme validation part is kind of ironic because at the time, I think that's when I started posting on Instagram. The second half of 2022 was not the best for me. And the validation I was seeking wasn't there. But then out of nowhere, I just got this urge to just post on Instagram. That was my way of just discreetly asking for validation. I mean, it worked. I got my little ego boost from time to time. It's kind of ironic that I say, "Oh, the validation wasn't there," but then I say, "Oh, but Then I just go on and post on fucking Instagram. I will not lie. I haven't contemplated suicide. No, that itself is true. I did not think about killing myself. However, there was a point in time where I thought to myself, what if I could just run away and, start again? You know, fucking new, like, live a new life and, like, have a new name, new identity. People won't know who I am, kind of thing. But in a way, I essentially did that going into the college I went to. Because, for one, it's full of white people, and if you couldn't tell, I am not white. For two, it's in the middle of fucking, not in the middle of nowhere, but there's nothing to do. And for three, it's a small campus. Everybody knows everyone, right? They know if they don't know your name, they've at least seen you around campus somehow, right? So like it wouldn't really matter if I really went through with my plan of running away and starting anew. It wouldn't make much of a difference, to be honest, because nothing would change. Because again, in a way, I already did that in college. But now I'm going to another college. I'm transferring, um, where there's a lot more people like me. So that's great. For a while, I was like, I really want to disappear. I just want to like not be here anymore. Um, and it was around that month that that I got to a point where I mentioned this in the video where I like I reached a breaking point where I was crying next to the lake, and I texted a friend at 2 a.m. like, "Hey, I am not okay. Please just be here for me." Um, and that's sort of when I decided, yeah, I think I just need to fucking move on and be better. A lot has changed, not just this year, but like ever since 2020. Um, I
Makes sense.
have gotten more in touch with who I am, specifically. Like I've done a lot this year in terms of like myself. I've developed like who I am
Oh my
to an
god.
extent. I've added more to the toxicity around me. I'm more in touch with
Just get with it.
my feminine side
Jesus
because if you
Christ.
don't know me, I tend to act like a bit. You get the hint. I tend to act a little like that. But I've sort of dived more into that because I'm like, well, I've always been, like not burly Manny, but like I've just been like straight Manny, right? So I've tried indulging in like not indulging, that's a bad word. I've more like explored. There we go. Taking the advantage of being in college, to like explore that side of myself. Now that I don't think anyone would judge me. And so far, yeah, I'm I'm a bit more confident in myself than I was before. Before I needed people to tell me I looked good so I can be like, "Oh yes, I can be confident." Now I don't need that. Now I know, "Oh yeah, I look good." Right? It's that sort of thing.
Took me a while to find a good stopping point.
I fucking hate how I beat around the bush so hard in this video. Just fucking say that you explored your femininity. There's nothing. It's 2022 in this time anyway. It's 2022, almost 2023. No one's gonna fucking throw rocks at you because you're like, I decided to put on some eyeliner today and did my nails. No one's gonna fucking I mean, they will, but they won't fucking kill you for it. Well, the doing things for myself was exploring my femininity and also just exploring the general idea of, as I mentioned before, of me being a good person, right? Um, that's what I should have said, not just me being, not just me being like, oh, I worked on myself, I did things, and I fucking say it, Jesus Christ, Manny, this man pisses me off, man. I swear to God. Comparing myself, not even that last year, the middle of this year, like if you were to like split this year in two, the first half was like I was okay, I was fine, but I was more like right. But then coming to the second half, I am not okay, but I am finding ways to make myself feel okay. And honestly, I think I deserve some credit. Just a little bit. I don't know how that came across. So I'm gonna just try and explain that a bit better. The first half of 2022, I was good. Not okay, not just fine. I was good. I was chilling. I was mad chilling, right? But I didn't explore that side of myself, right? That's what I meant to say. Because again, this fucker keeps beating around the bush so fucking hard. But to explain why I didn't really explore that side of myself till I went to college, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. High school. Realistically, that's all I need to say, but I'm gonna explain a bit more. Especially where I came from, I don't know how people would have reacted if they saw me with eyeliner, if they saw me with my nails done, because Mexicans generally are, at least like older generation Mexicans are not cool with it. And it's not to say I went to school with older Mexicans, but like seeing the actions and the words that these kids would say back then, it concerned me because it was like if I came to school looking like this, I would either A, get judged and bullied really fucking hard because I am open with myself and I am a tad fruity. Two, people will do this thing where they'll try to be buddy buddy with you because you express yourself a bit more when you can tell they really don't give a shit and they're subtly poking fun at you because of what you're doing. I don't know if y'all will get what I mean, but I feel like some people will know what I'm talking about. And three, I just didn't know. I didn't know how people would, essentially I just didn't know how people would react. And I was scared. So I was like, I'm not gonna try and do that in high school of all places. So I'm gonna wait till college, especially in a liberal arts college. Nobody really gives a shit what you do. So that's when I decided to explore a bit more and like um, people would teach me and shit. So it wasn't all that bad. So that's really the main reason why I didn't explore my femininity. It's also the fact that like I didn't know how to, because like the most I did was just how I talked, how I expressed myself. That's the most I did. Um, but never how I would do so on my body, right? So that's the tea. In terms of how college is going, it's going okay. It's not the best, not the worst. Then again, that just might be my mental state.
It
But it's
was.
okay. It isn't difficult to make more like companions, but not friends, right?
Acquaintances, you mean?
It's not that hard to make companions, but to make friends is a bit difficult.
True.
Really, in college, I only have one. I still have like the same amount of friends as I did back in high school. I still have them. But now I have, get this, two friends now. I'm gonna name drop them, Indigo and Ava. Those two, I love both of them to death. Indigo I met first semester. They're non-binary, so that's really fucking cool. And they're the ones that did my nails, or that do my nails. So thank you, Indigo. And then there's Ava. She's my stoner friend. We really, like apart from that, like even when we're sober, like we're still really chill with each other. Um, so it's nice to have like another friend before I leave. Being around both of them, I was able to make it through college for the most part. Otherwise, I wouldn't have anybody. So thank you to the both of yous, and thank you to those before that, aka my friends in high school. Thank y'all as well for saving me, for keeping me in your thoughts and prayers. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Talking to myself, I recommend it. Therapy is expensive. Talking to yourself is free. It's just a it's just a matter of finding the time and I don't want to say being in the right mental state because if you're talking to yourself, you're either in a good mood or in a bad mood. For me, I was mostly in a bad mood. Okay, a lot to unpack here. Yeah, Manny, I think you would have benefited from therapy, to be honest. Jesus Christ. Yes, at around this time, or no, the entirety of first semester, I spent all that talking to myself. I never talked to my problems with my friends because I feel that I have this image of happy-go-lucky Manny, right? And like, obviously everyone knows I have my own set of problems, but I don't make them known. I don't make them clear to people, because in my perspective, I don't think that's necessary. Only for me. I would want to know what's bothering you, but I don't want you to know what's bothering me, right? Cause fuck you. Honestly, I don't think talking to myself really helped me that much. I mean, it helped me process emotions, sure, but I don't think it was beneficial as much as therapy was, right? Because in that aspect, you have a third party, you have someone from the outside telling you what's going on, or you telling them what's going on, and they just tell you what they think would work. And just like, general advice and just, reassurance that, you did something human. So what? Yes, I do recommend talking to yourself, but if it gets to a point where you are bashing yourself in the head every single time you do so, go to fucking therapy. It will help you, trust me. Wow, very very fun video here, Manny.
We're having fun today. Yeah, it wasn't fun, but now I know where I stand, as in like I know um where I am for the most part mentally, and I am making progress. And there was a lot that happened this year, and hopefully one day I am able to forgive myself for making the mistakes I made. But for the meantime, I am still processing everything. I am still thinking about everything. There's a lot on my mind that I don't. Even now, when I say I have a lot on my mind, I don't think I realize how much I really have or how little I have. Maybe I'm over exaggerating. Maybe I'm underestimating how much I have. I don't know. At this time, I don't want to say I made progress, unless you count progress as being I figured out what is bothering me. Then yes, I made a lot of progress in that moment. Not in that moment, but like at that time, I made a lot of progress if that's the case. Otherwise, I didn't do jack shit of progress. I thought I was doing good. It was one of those things where like you give yourself that delusion or that illusion of things are fine. But then one day everything just comes crashing down and you're like, okay, maybe not everything is okay. It's more like I realized some things about myself that are not good and I want to fix them. But that's where I stopped because I was like, how do I fix them? Where do I go from here? How do I forgive? Can I forgive myself? Should I forgive myself? Like I said earlier. So it was really just a matter of how. How do I move on? How do I forgive myself? How do I forget it? And how can I handle the fact that this image I hold of myself of being a good person is sort of gone now because of what I've done? So it was, in a way, yes, it was a reality check. It was also, in a way, sort of an ego death, but not really. I don't think that's what that means. I'm using that term very very loosely. So, but essentially, I realized I'm not perfect, and I don't want to pretend like I'm perfect. I don't want to pretend like I don't have problems. I don't want to pretend like I am a good person because I am. It's, okay, I caught myself there. I am human. I make mistakes, and that is normal. In the process of me being human, I hurt those around me. I help those around me. Some of the, sometimes I have to face the consequences to my actions, and it's deserved. But something I can take away from that is I learn. I realize I did a bad thing. I need to know, or I need to know what I did. Then I can learn how to not do that thing again. And that's sort of the beauty of human nature, of being human. We make mistakes, and hopefully, we learn and we grow. Not everyone is like this, sadly, but I can say with full confidence that I am making actual progress in that fact. Now it's just a matter of moving on and forgiving myself 100% of the way. Yeah. It all comes to me in due time or when I do drugs. Oh boy.
That's right. Manny has started doing weed, right?
Word.
Do I look like the type that would have done weed? Probably not, but here we fucking are. Actually, we'll make this little fun story time. Let's do that. Oh boy, here we go. Let's add a little bit of spice, right? The first week, right? That's right. The first week of being in college, I got high a whopping 3 times. Three, count them, 1, 2, 3, 3 times, right? Gonna stop you right there. The first time getting high, it was an experience. It was fun. Um, However, I'm gonna skip this part of the video as well, because I'm just gonna explain everything here. I say that I got high in the first week. I got high 3 times, which to a lot of people I think is like amateur. Like 3 days in one week, that's nothing, right? And I say that now because have you tried getting high for a whole week? Because that's what I did at one point. After this, it was after me going through hell. It wasn't during it, because if it was during, things would have gotten bad. 3 days is not a lot. Let's be honest here. It really isn't. What was bad was, I think I mentioned it here, I don't remember anymore, was my mental state. Going into college, I was not okay. And then getting high during college, especially around this time when I was going through hell, was worse. Because I still I still dabble in the marijuana. I shouldn't say that. I still dabble in the devil's lettuce, right? From time to time I still do. But it's not as bad in terms of like the effects. It's not as bad as it used to. In terms of its use, it has gone down a bit, but because of how I was at that time mentally, I probably shouldn't have been doing drugs, because that elevated my emotions, that elevated everything, and it just wasn't fun. So the use wasn't the problem. Me getting high every weekend, as I said here, once or twice a week, that wasn't the problem. What was really the problem was how I reacted to using the drugs. Because it was fun in games, right? But there were some days where I would get too into my head, and, my emotions be all over the place, and I was just a mess, right? Now, that I am at a better state of mind, and I even told this to my therapist. Like, one day I woke up after getting high and I felt good. And that isn't normal for me, because after I get high and I go to sleep while I'm high, I wake up feeling like, I don't want to say like shit, but I feel heavy. Like, my head is heavy, and like, I'm still adjusting to everything. I'm like, oh my God. One day I just woke up feeling good. I felt, I don't want to say great about myself, but I felt great about myself. And the entire day I was like, why do I feel good about myself? Like, why? And then it hit me that like I'm making progress. And then it hit me that I'm making progress with myself, that I am happy with myself, and I was fine. And honestly, like when I made that realization that day, I was like, this is good. I feel good about myself. So again, it wasn't the amount of times I used the drug. It was just how I reacted to the drug that was bad. We're skipping the whole weed part. Will I release this ever? Like, even to like my friends? I don't know. Maybe I will. Who the fuck knows? And eventually, I do plan on recording and publishing a whole video, um, and releasing it to the world, type shit. So, yes, Manny, you do end up releasing this video for better or for worse. But before I like released it to the public, quote unquote, I sent it to a few friends because I was like, well, I mean, like, they're my friends. I think they deserve to, like, see what's really on my mind, especially at that time. And Mary, one of my closest friends, um, she told me that, she had wished that I told her all this, like, before I recorded it, or if I just, like, told her in general, like, what was going on with me. And, that was, like, the first instance of me realizing that I have good friends, that I have a good like support, that I have good support behind me. And I'm honestly glad that I didn't take her for granted. You know, she was like the only one that really sat down with me and said, "You have a problem. You need to fix it. Fix it, if not for me, for yourself. Be who you want to be for your future friends, your future relationships, but put yourself first." And it's because of her that I got better. And also, I, in a way, I did release this to the public. I put this out on my Instagram, um, and I just like spliced up some clips together and just put her in. So essentially, I released the entire video on my Instagram basically. And one person in particular surprised me when they said, "I want to see the whole thing." I was surprised. And sure, they said, "Oh, I bet you're fucking like kicking your feet up in the air." No, the fuck I wasn't, all right? But I sent it anyway because I'm like, well, I mean, I can't say no. Really, this is just like life updates with Manny. I got new glasses
if you remember.
Oh yeah, that's
New
true.
glasses. I wanted to get circle glasses, but I guess circle glasses are for women. That's
That's
precisely
precisely
why
why
I
I
wanted
wanted
them.
them.
I am single again. Hurrah. Tinder is an interesting place. So is Grinder.
True.
Yes, I'm still single. Hooray.
I don't think I was really ready to be in a relationship at that time, to be honest. Even now, I'm still I don't want to say hesitant. I am open to the idea, and if it comes my way, it comes my way. I just don't know. I don't have any more game in me. I don't I don't know how to flirt. I forgot how to flirt. I don't know how to do any of it, so we're just gonna see how it goes. But yes, I got Grinder at that time. Nothing special to be honest. It's just a bunch of guys looking for hot, gay, hot, steamy sex. So that's great. It's not. Alright, Tinder, that's a thing. Used it, met some cool people. That was it. My life isn't spicy. It hasn't been for a while. There's not much to update you on in that department. Yeah. I don't give a shit. I just care about me. I'm the main character here, okay? I don't give a shit about anyone else around me, just me. TLDR, I was lost, then I was found, but then lost again, then officially lost. And now I'm here, finding bits and pieces of myself that I didn't know were there. As in like me being a bit overly feminine sometimes. That was exciting. That is exciting for me because for once I actually have confidence in myself. I feel like I look good. I feel good, right? And that is a rare occurrence for me. It was and it still is. Even when I had like fucking millions of voices telling me, "Oh, you look great." I doubted it, but now I'm like, you know what? I look fucking amazing. I look hot. But I don't want to be too full of myself because then I build myself up too much. Whoops! Don't want you to fall. I mean, I forgot what I said already, but oh, I don't know what I meant when I said I was lost, found, lost, officially lost, and now found. Because I was not found once, nor was I lost. I was lost, yes, but I don't want to say I was officially lost or whatever the fuck that meant. Let me rephrase that. I was good, then I was not good, then I was fucking bottom of the barrel, and now I am on my way back up. I think that's what I meant to say. Don't know what the fuck I meant to say when I said I was lost, officially lost, and now found again. No, the fuck I wasn't. I wasn't. Lost, yes. Miserable, fuck yes. Found? The fuck are you talking about, Manny? But yeah, um, I forgot what I was talking about there. After that, we're just gonna ignore it. We're just gonna. Oh no, I don't remember anymore. Never mind. So I'm trying my best to control my ego. My now existent ego. My non. I had no ego back then. Now I kind of do. But we don't talk about that. No. We didn't have an ego, Manny. I don't think so. I think we were just confident in ourselves, and that's it. Does that mean I have an ego? I don't know. At the time, I was very confident with myself. That's when I discovered the magic of eyeliner, and that's when I started popping off with it. But would I say I had an ego? No. Again, I was just confident in myself. This whole video is just a whole lot of nothing. I realize, and I don't want to edit it, but I will edit it anyway because I have nothing better to do with my life right now, apart from playing games. But even then, um, yeah, yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Yeah.
Goodbye.
The fuck is this? Yeah. Um, that was a lot to take in. So, to break it down point by point, at this time, specifically in November and December, I was miserable. I was not having a good time. And then around January, I decided, you know what? Or February, I should say. that's when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to therapy. So I went to therapy, skip a few months. Here I am now. I had my last session 2 days ago. And I told my therapist, I appreciate the help. Everything that you've told me, it'll all help me in my own journey. I am ready to fly from the nest, as she put it. I am ready to face whatever comes my way head on with everything that I've learned in therapy, everything that I've talked about. So, compared to this, now I feel better. I'm actually okay. I'm actually good. Sure, there are days, obviously, where I don't feel great. I feel like shit. But that's normal. Especially if you're in, if especially since I am on that path of self-forgiveness. It does get difficult. It does, it takes a lot sometimes to just go on with the day after you remember something and you're like, you know what? I'd rather not right now. Um, it takes a lot sometimes, but I know that in the long run, I'll be okay. I'll be fine, and I'll be back to where I started. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a part of life. And honestly, I'm proud of myself for the progress I've done. Like now I've actually done progress. You know, reaching out for help, actually telling people how I feel about them, how much I appreciate them. Yeah. Sure, I haven't forgiven myself 100%, but I am in a better position now where I can say that I am learning how to forgive myself and I am making more progress than I did when I made this video. So, here's some advice that I would like to give out to you. Go to therapy. Sure, it's not for everyone, but it'll help to have that non-biased view from a third person perspective. Um, for one, go to therapy. For two, um, reach out and like tell people, or at least tell those you care about that you care about them, that you love them very much. Because I can tell you from experience that can go a long way. You know, just letting, just be like, hey, just came to tell you you're cool, love you, take care, whatever the fuck you want to say. Just know that it goes a long way, and it does help people to know that they are cared for, that they are loved. And finally, it's okay to make mistakes. Sure, some things that I have done and maybe you have done don't feel like mistakes. In fact, they feel like more than mistakes. There's a word for it, I think. I don't know. But it just feels like you've done something that is unforgivable. Even if the person you hurt doesn't forgive you, you can at least try to forgive yourself. At least try. Even if by the end of your life you don't fully forgive yourself, you can at least say, well, I tried. I tried and I couldn't. But the path to self forgiveness is difficult, but it is worth it because it's easy to ignore it all and just try and move on with your life. But at the same time, in the long run, it'll just build up to the point where you can't handle even the mention of it all, right? Even when you think about it briefly, it'll just bring you down to the point where you can't go on with your day. So, forgive yourself as best you can. Move on from it as best you can. Face those problems head on as best you can. Because I can tell you right now through experience that it'll get easier, it'll get better. You will feel better. I'm stretching this out so much, but be who you want to be for yourself, for those around you, and for those who you may meet in the future. Because the best version that you can be is you, your full authentic self. So I'm gonna end it here on a high note. Um, videos coming soon. Um, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I think I'm gonna do the second season of Attaway General. Um, listen to my podcast. Some podcast up on Spotify. I don't know how to end it, so good night, because it's 3 a.m. now. I've been recording for about like 2 hours apparently, or an hour and 17 minutes to be exact. Um, good night, take care, and remember, be who you want to be. If not for others, then be who you want to be for you. See y'all sometime, somewhere. Take care.